Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern, and this is a Dealer's Choice League from Patreon subscriber Rob. And I've chosen to play this hot new AspiringSpike brew of Cascade beans. The theory of this deck is that Up the Beanstalk is one of the best things you can do in the format, so why not play 8 of them? There are 4 Shardless agents in this deck. The only card they can cascade into is Up the Beanstalk, thus turning Shardless Agent into a 3-mana 2/2 cantrip that leaves Up the Beanstalk in play for the rest of this deck, which basically all cost 5 or more except for Omnath and Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid can only hit Shardless Agent, which can only hit Up the Beanstalk, or it can hit Teferi. Pretty high rate of hits for Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, there's one Nissa in here too. My bad. This is a card I haven't played with yet, but I've learned is very expensive in paper. 3 mana 3/3, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Then, if it's the second time this ability has resolved, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or elemental and put that card in your hand. So it's Lotus Cobra, and also, if you have a fetch land, you just tutor up an elemental. Card's bonkers. So Shardless Agent can only hit one thing. Bloodbraid Elf can only hit good things. And it might even hit Shardless Agent, which can only hit one thing. And then we are pitching spells and drawing extra cards besides. My interest in this deck is for many reasons. Number one, I love Up the Beanstalk, and I think this card is awesome, and it does everything I want to do in a game of Magic for the most part. And we get to play more than 4 of them in this list. I will also be attending Star City Pittsburgh as a featured guest. That's coming up in November, and there's a Modern 10K. That's the main event that weekend. There's also a CDH 5K and a Legacy 5K. I'll certainly be in the Modern 10K though, and something like this is on my short list. And the third, and probably most interesting to my usual viewer, reason I want to play this is because I've been given a brew challenge to also build this in Legacy, and I'd like to start at the source and get a feel for it before I adapt it for another format. I imagine it'll look largely the same, we just get better pitch spells. But let's get the baseline set here. There's really not much more to say about this deck. It's the 4-color elemental shell, except it is hyper-focused on always having a Beanstalk in play, so you always outdraw your opponent. AspiringSpike is saying it's busted, one of the best modern decks he's ever played, etc., etc. We'll see if that's true, and let's get back into it. This is Rob's Bean Cascade from AspiringSpike. Welcome to Taking the Initiative for Trans Lifeline, hosted by myself and a group of your favorite Magic content creators. Trans Heart October is an annual drive where gamers and streamers from around the world work together to support Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline is the nation's only crisis and peer support hotline staffed by trans people for trans people. 2023 has been a year of unprecedented anti-trans legislation, violent rhetoric, and other attacks on the basic rights of some of our most vulnerable community members. Every $2 you donate during this campaign is a raffle entry. Every $500 collected overall adds another prize to the raffle. We have secret layers, Cool Stuff Inc. gift cards, full boxes, and almost 20 commander decks to give away. Use the link or QR code to get in the mix for great prizes while supporting an important cause. Entries are accepted October 16th through 20th, 2023. Donations must include name and address to be eligible for prizes. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a hand that I just can't keep. 1 plains to play the game on? Don't think so. Okay, here we go. Beans and a pair of Furies. I can rock with that. A Windswept Heath for my opponent. Good chance it's a mirror match. People love this sort of deck. Oh, more beans. You're dead. Zagoth Triome. Yep, someone is setting up a leyline binding situation. And then being on the play is kind of terrifying because they get to... Alright, they didn't have one, but if they play a bean, draw a card, I play a bean, draw a card, they get to leyline bind my bean first, which also draws a card. I'm fetching in the end step here. At which point I will figure out what lands make sense to fetch. Rockran Triome leaves me without black in my basic land types. Zagoth Triome. I can fetch Sacred Foundry just whenever and unlock that. Yeah, that's fine. Temple Garden. Let's just get the Beanstalk in here. Maybe they'll counterspell it or something, but that's a 1-for-1. If they Leyline Bind it, it's a 2-for-1. And if it just sticks, we're going nuts. We're in there. Leyline Binding, ding, ding, ding. That means next turn I can Beanstalk and Leyline Bind and draw 2 cards. Possible we just get our Bean binded, not with that land though. Okay, they've got 5 types over there. I'd kind of love for them to Shardless Agent into a Beanstalk here, and then I just Shadow Realm them by doing multiples. Wait, Sacred Foundry is not the one I need. What do I actually need here? Oh yeah, I just need a mountain. I'm good. Yeah, that's fine. I was right the first time. There it is, the Shardless Agent. 17 cards revealed, up the Beanstalk hit, mirror match confirmed. A Flooded Strand. I'm going to go up the Beanstalk again. They would need to be main decking Force of Negation for me to have a bad time here. Leyline Binding. Pew, 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 pew. Just staying frosty with 7 cards in my hand here. Including a Boseiju that can hit their Leyline Binding whenever they have one of those. I'm about to move into Hardcasting Fury phase of the game. And we got a lot of game left to play here, but this feels pretty dumb. Shockton Temple Garden. If they have Bloodbraid Elf here, my life total is actually in some danger. There's a Bean. I could Pitchcast Fury and just clear their board and draw 2 cards. I'd rather draw something cool like Bloodbraid Elf. Fire Ice. Okay. So I can fire both of their things, save Fury for the future. Or I could Pitchcast a Fury now, draw 2 cards, see what happens. I'm going to do that, actually. Exiling one of the fires. Another fire. Bloodbraid Elf, let's go. Is this the stupidest timeline? It might be. 2 to this, 2 to this. Fury goes away. Basic Forest does what I need it to here. Bloodbraid Elf. Can we get the Teferi? We got a Shardless Agent, which is another Bean. That's fine, too. Up the Beanstalk. This is preposterous. And the craziest part is if my opponent's like, end step, Leyline Bind, exile your Leyline Binding, they draw a card off Leyline Binding, then they untap and have the same turn I just had. We're still playing, like I haven't even won the game yet after doing all this. And I just cast multiple spells, including one where I had to exile a card from my hand, and I'm still passing the turn with 7 cards in hand. And they are doing the thing I described. Off we go. Slugfest. They got Nissa. Uh-oh. So they're going to have 3-4 mana here, and they get to slurp up an elemental if they're so inclined. Here it comes. They put green in the pool and then also fetched a basic forest. That's interesting. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf isn't elf, obviously. Elf. You could get Bloodbraid Elf for this too. Jesus. Didn't even realize that was the thing. AspiringSpike is just in the Matrix when he builds decks. Okay, so they can Bloodbraid Elf with what they have here, if that's what they're trying to do. Yeah, here we go. Alright. And they hit a Shardless Agent, and they... Remember the thing I said where they can just exile my Beanstalk and then have the same turn I just did? That's literally what happened. I see 1 Omnath, the Teferis, the Solitudes. Looks like the same deck I'm playing. 1 Lorien, or there's 2 Lorien revealed, so it's not the same as my deck. Pretty sure I only have 1. Yeah, okay. So they have done some innovation on this. I'm going to take a trade where I can get it. Life total's looking suspicious. And I can cast Fury, which doesn't finish off their squad, but does draw 1 million cards. And there is a Stomping Ground and a Steam Vents in my deck that can hardcast the Fury. Could also pitchcast the Fury and Fire to completely clear their board. Fury drawing 3 cards. Seems messed up. We both have 7 in hand. I feel like we're both going to have 7 in hand for all of time. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to just be shoving here. Okay. I'm going to go get that Stomping Ground. Drawing 3 cards. Gonna kill Nissa with this and put a damage on Shardless Agent. Still interested in just trading off where I can. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to hold on to that. Because I have Fire that kills that next turn. I don't know, there's a lot going on here and my brain is goo. I discard 1 of the fetch lands. The only thing I would keep Triumph for is to cycle it, so yeah, I'll just discard it, and it's gone. I don't need more cards. I should have discarded one of these Misties. There is a basic Plains left in my deck, and there's not a basic Island. Or a basic Forest. Uh-oh, they found an Omnath first. That's a big one. Okay, go nuts. Having more Omnath certainly favors the mirror. That Aelish Norn is in my deck somewhere, and that's the real hammer in the mirror. Okay, the land came in tapped. Small relief. Zagoth doesn't cast Fury or Solitude, so that actually is kind of a relief. Does cast Bloodbraid, who hit to Fairy Time Raveler, son of a biscuit. That was... I mean, you don't really want to bounce Fury here. They declined to play it. Oh, there are swear words in the chat. They must have misclicked. Okay, well, I'll take it all the same. I'm not greedy. Okay, so things I can do here are Leyline Bind Omnath, it's gone. I can Teferi, bounce Fury, pitchcast Fury, kill Omnath, it's gone. That sounds medium bad, though. I think I just lead on this basic island and cast my Teferi. Blue, white, and I want red and white available at the end of this, and it will be. Okay. I'm just going to put Teferi in first. Let's start there. If they have Boseiju, they can kill this Leyline Binding before it answers the Omnath, but I'm okay with that. That also ramps me. And then I can bounce their binding and bind their Omnath. I mean, that's not great either. Bind your Omnath. And then... God, what does this Teferi even do? Like, nothing. I mean, I'm attacking for 6. That's happening. They did not block, because they have to pressure the Teferi if they want to cascade anymore. Do I just plus this Teferi so it doesn't die to Fury? Don't need more cards, and there's not a good permanent to bounce here. I'll discard Misty Rainforest, and I have the option to Boseiju, or to Fire, or to Ice. All of which could help save the Teferi. Leyline Binding. Okay, here they come. You get to draw 1 billion cards. I feel like Boseijuing this doesn't even matter right now. Yeah, I'm just going to let that be under there, because Boseijuing the binding and setting Teferi free might actually blow out a Cascade line, rather than just keep Teferi and they play another binding with their 9 cards in hand. Another Omnath. Alright. I suspect they have way more of these than I do. Omnath happens. Can't stop it. I could exile it in response to its trigger with Boseijuing their Leyline Binding, but then my tricks are gone. Okay, a land that's not a fetch land. I am worried about their life total going up at this rate. I'm gonna fire the Bloodbraid Elf, actually. They've kind of done what they can do here. Their life total has gone up a few times and mine hasn't. They have to clean up, discard a card. Discard Lorien Revealed. Yeah, good call. You might just die if you cast that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still a basic Plains in my deck. I think I just want to go get that now. I'm going to cast Solitude main phase, leaving up mana that can do all the things that are in my hand, or all the like interactive things. I could Fire Ice or I can Boseiju. Another Omnath gone. They could Boseiju in response while they still have a legend and get the other one back. That didn't happen though. I do have creatures in play to their not having creatures in play. That feels pretty good. And I'm just going to discard Misty Rainforest and pass. Boseiju feels like a massive trump in the matchup, or at least I feel like in this spot it's going to find somewhere cool to go. Breeding Pool tapped. Wow, they're passing the turn. I'm obsessed with that. I think I actually want to Boseiju unlock my Teferi right now. That makes this turn a lot less concerning. If they have a Leyline Binding, they have to do it now. And if they do it now, they're going to have to go to cleanup and discard a bunch of cards. Yep, they are binding now. Do they want their Omnath back, or do they want my Fury gone? The Omnath will gain 4 life here from the Boseiju. Yep, good call. At least that's what I would say if I wasn't about to Solitude it. Yeah, I'm just going to get after this now. It's weird, it's crazy. Let's just throw cards around. Actually, that didn't make sense. I should have just let them have the 4 life and then do this with the protection of Teferi up under me. Because now they can Solitude me back. Yeah, Omnath is gone. They draw a card. 10 cards in hand. If they cast any spells, they go to 12 cards in hand. Cards in deck is a genuine concern. You've got a Solitude. You're drawing a bunch of cards. Yep. My Fury's going to go here. That's definitely the more important creature. Then Boseiju finally resolves. They get a land. If there's one left in the deck, they haven't drawn them all. 19 cards left in your deck. Clean up, discard 5 cards. Okay, I got some stuff to do here. I am worried about the number of cards in my deck. I don't know how we solve for that. Is there just something clever in the deck? Not really. And there's not like one endurance or anything that can reset me here. I think I just start with a Bloodbraid. I would like to deal damage to my opponent. Teferi Time Raveler, tilt. I guess if I activate Teferi first, then that's possible that I don't get punished by that. Alright, whatever. If I bounce their Solitude, am I on the deck you plan? Yeah, if I bounce your Solitude, you have to draw more cards to play it. Interesting. Okay, Steam Vents. Cast this other Bloodbraid. I will cast the Shardless Agent. I'm going to decline the Beanstalk. I don't want more of that. Okay, attack with all my stuff, and then I'm going to F6, and clock and cards in deck are both concerns of mine for this mirror match. And opponent, you're at 6, and it's your turn to figure out what's going on here. I did successfully navigate that turn without drawing too many extra cards, which feels like a weird thing to say, but I also do believe it. Okay, you've got it Teferi now, so I could just fully F6. They're bouncing their own Beanstalks. That's something that I considered as well. Start to get out from under the squeeze of decking yourself. Fury. That card's pretty good. I could kill 2 of my creatures or my Teferi and 1 of my creatures. Certainly 2 creatures are going to go here. Probably Solitude Bloodbraid. Yep. Firing my Teferi. Okay. My Cascades don't work, which is fine because I don't want them anyway. These Shardless Agents are mostly bricks. If I can find 1 damage, I win. Because I could tap Fury with Ice. Or no, I know they have a Solitude in their hand. Never mind. I can't rely on that being a thing. Nissa and Omnath both like when I play lands. I'm going to start with Omnath. That card's pretty good, I've heard. Drawing Lorien Revealed. Horrifying. Okay. Shock in Hallowed Fountain, which replaces that life loss right away. If I Solitude, I have 14 cards in my deck. I think I'm fine with that. I'm pushing well enough here with damage that I think I can overcome the decking menace. Exile your Fury. I'm going to put an attack on Teferi. And life is better without that card in play, even though it's pretty mediocre right now. Pitch casting is Solitude. They are once again lower cards in their deck than I am. This is fascinating. Like this whole Magic. Like I know there's going to be people in the comments like, what happened in Modern? What are we doing here? This is so toxic. Like, yeah, maybe, but it is fun to figure this stuff out on like day 1 that it exists, and then we can hate it later. What fetchable lands are in my deck? I have 1 Breeding Pool. I think they're all gone, which means that I need to discard this Flooded Strand. Maybe Lorien Revealed is still worse, but this is what I'm going with. Another Fury. Okay. Do you want 2 creatures or Omnath? You want 2 creatures. Okay. There's 10 cards in your deck. We're in my upkeep and something is happening. Okay, Solitude now. That was to avoid having to discard too many cards. Sure. Omnath's going to be out of here. They have 8 cards in their deck. Teferi, I like. Put you in here. Bounce this Solitude. If they replay that, I want it to cost them cards in deck, which is suddenly the resource I care about the most. I could play Nissa and then fire this Fury twice. Breeding Pool tapped, makes red. Fire, put 2 on Fury. Fire, put 1 on Fury, 1 on my opponent's face. I have a permanent in play that can win the game. I have more life, more time, and more cards in my deck. All the important metrics. Now you have a Teferi. Do they have to bounce their own Beanstalk again? Yeah, they do. Okay. This is super nostalgic for me because back in the Lorwyn block constructed days, the way that you won the 5-color control mirror was actually Una's Grace targeting your opponent. You just deck them and they could never beat it. It's a solid Fury. Got the 1-point Teferi out of there too. 5 cards in their deck. Down to 1 Beanstalk. They might have better managed that stuff than I did. Yeah, they're just firing me down to 18 because they're going to discard all those cards anyway. I'd be pretty surprised if this Flooded Strand has a fetchable left. Sick. That was the best draw. I do have to draw 3 cards, but I'm still ahead of them on decking. 3 to Fury, 1 to Teferi. I learned that play recently from an opponent. And then Shardless Agent, I will decline the Cascade. I did just reveal basically every card that's left in my deck. I'm not going to play these lands, they don't help. Another Fury, alright. 3 cards left in your deck. My BoshNRoll is still in here somewhere. That's a nice one. They have 8 minutes left on their clock. Teferi resolves. Shardless Agent. Couldn't Cascade if I wanted to, but I don't. And I'm just going to pass here. Teferi can bounce this, and they could get in for 6, then I just play it again next turn, and if Teferi bounces it, they only have 1 card left in their deck. If they cast a spell, they only have 1 card left in their deck. Fire Ice count 1, 2, 3, 4, all of those are gone. Every removal spell in their deck draws a card now. Bloodbraid Elf. Revealed 2 Windswept Heaths. That's what's left in their deck for this game. Unless they have Secret Tech, like 1 of Endurance. Because they have more Omnaths than me, they've clearly done some iterating on this. Oh, they just bounced Beanstalk going down to 1 card in their deck. Now they can cast Solitude if they want to. Oh, they're going to do it now. Try to get over the finish line. That makes sense. Yeah, this is 9. They actually do have me for Xaxes here. However... Oh, wait, no. Solitude gains life, and I can Fury once. Go down to 2 cards in my deck, and I'm still ahead on that. Okay, 6 cards. Fury. I go to 3 cards. Even better. 1... 2, 3, Fury, kill your 2 other creatures. I can't cast BoshNRoll. I can cast Bloodbraid Elf. Just have to decline the Cascade. Well, there's Teferi in place, so I don't actually have to decline anything. And then I'm just going to pass the turn, and they have to deal 10 to me without drawing any more cards. I'm not even going to attack this Teferi out of play, I don't care. Yeah, I think I just recognized that this game was about decking before my opponent did. Like 1 or 2 turns before they did. Now they have 0 cards in their deck. Leyline Binding, okay. Getting rid of my Bloodbraid. So if they have 2 removal spells and 2 Bloodbraid Elves, they can win. I know 2 of their cards in hand are Windswept Heath. Solitude, okay. I'm at 4. If they don't have a way to finish this, they should have just conceded. They're wasting precious time right now. You gotta know when to concede in matchups like this too. Alright, I'm at 7. Not 4. Yeah, just pass. Go. Don't have Endurance, please. And I beat an empty library on turn 15. Cool. Okay, the mirror match. What the hell? Nexus of Fate. This is a solution to decking. Commandeering a Beanstalk early is pretty cool. I don't think that's what we're doing here, though. I love this Murderous Cut. Force of Vigor actually seems pretty fire in the matchup. That's about Leyline Binding and Beanstalks. Teferi shuts off Cascade, but is otherwise pretty mid. Lorien Revealed is like so crazy in this deck. The idea that you would ever need to draw 3 cards based on what I just experienced. I mean, obviously not every match is the mirror match. I don't think I want Endurances. I think I do want... I mean, I 100%. It's not a think. I know I want Nexus of Fate. I could go Sans Teferi and up all these. Teferi did some bouncing and stuff. It's like kind of cool, but it didn't really do the work in that matchup. Okay, I'm going like this. AspiringSpike has been streaming with this deck. I'm sure you could see what he does if you want to go watch it. I'll probably do that before SCG Pittsburgh, but for now, I'm going in totally blind. I'm going to keep this hand. They have faith in the Force of Vigor. Also, this one of Lorien Revealed, just hilariously exactly what I need to bring this hand together. Yeah, they had the same idea. 5.5 minutes on their clock to my 10.5. And I'm up a game. As long as I click fast and don't time myself out, I think I'm fine here. I want Zagoth Triome, Rockrin Triome. Probably Rockrin's better. And then, oh, I probably should have cycled Lorien Revealed in the main phase and just grabbed Zagoth Triome. Then I have everything going into the next turn. They're icing my Rockrin yeah, okay. I'll cycle in response. This looks like someone who's just trying to hit a land drop. They got there. Zagoth Triome. Do I want to ice their Rockran Triome? I think I do. And they were desperate to hit a land drop last turn. If I can keep them off for this turn, that could deny Omnath for a turn. Maybe they just miss a land drop here and they can't play Teferi and keep drawing. We'll see. Oh yeah, they're missing their land drop. Told ya. Does mean they have 7 spells in hand. Oh, clapping back. I love this. I'm going to play Hallowed Fountain open, because I do have Leyline Binding. They did take me off of Blood Braiding there. But I'm ready on my turn. They're ready now. They found their land. With the Teferis out of my deck, the Blood Braids actually are even more specific. They're either Shardless Agent into Beanstalk or Nissa. There's a Blood Braid Elf, which hidden up the Beanstalk after revealing a Rockran Triome. Okay. I'm just gonna... I could bind this and just try to take the tempo. Actually, I don't think I would make this play if we weren't under the clock the way we are. But here, I think it's fine, because they have to deal 20 to me, and I just have to not die for a while. And I'm holding this Force of Vigor for the Beanstalk, which is what I would otherwise be worried about. With the binding, I get my 80% hit here of Shardless Agent. Another elf revealed a Shardless Agent. And maybe Teferi is worth it, because, I mean, this deck is really built around cascading into Beanstalk. We can see how Beanstalk became a liability last game. That doesn't mean that's always going to be true. I will not block and just Fury their squad next turn. End step fetch. We get a Stomping Ground. That casts the Force of Vigor and the Fury. Fury, draw 1 card. Leyline Binding. Conveniently. Cost 1. Play my land in case I want to bind something and push for damage. I'm actually going to Force of Vigor pitching Shardless Agent in the upkeep here. I don't want them drawing any cards. Get out of here. I don't need that Shardless Agent. I didn't want to force pitching Force last turn because Leyline Binding is still part of this game, but I don't give a shit about Shardless Agent. 5 mana in the pool. This could be their own Fury. It is. Do you want 2 creatures or 1 big one? Oh, they're going to pitch a second. Oh no, Bloodbraid Elf. I guess it's just Fury and the other damage is free. For a second, I thought Fury was going to survive that, but that's not how that works. I'm going to place basic planes, bind. I know all I have to do is stay alive here, but if I can kill them, why not? And they look dead to me. So, Solitude's a hell of a card. Nissa? Hell yeah. Get in there, girl. Attack for lethal. Actual lethal. I don't know if my opponent played different because of their clock, but it is nice to actually finish the game. And big, stupid control mirrors. I've played enough of these in history, even though I've never played this deck before, to recognize when decking is the win condition. And I believe that won me that match. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 2. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got a Bean and a Teferi and a removal spell that also triggers Bean. Sounds good to me. I'm going to lead on Flooded Strand because my plan is to get Rockran Triome here. Welding Jar. Okay, we're against some hardened scales, it seems. Zabaz. I'm going to get the Rockran Triome, and let's move forward with our lives. I'm going to hope that they can't turn to me, and will Basic Forest play this game for me? I don't think so. I think I do have to shock something in. It has to be a forest. I want my beans available, is what I'm thinking about here. I'm thinking about those beans. Temple Garden. Cast Beanstalk now and Teferi next turn. This Boseiju in hand might be sick against this deck, but the Welding Jar is kind of a stinker. Okay, that's the turn. Leyline Binding doesn't care about Welding Jar, but Boseiju cares about it a lot. Urza Saga. Alright, well, that is not an artifact that can be regenerated. Hangerback Walker. That one's a jerk. Ooh, fire, ice, get the fuck out. Okay, I guess modularing onto Hangerback Walker is pretty bad. If they regen Hangerback Walker and then make it a 3/3, and I didn't deal with Urza Saga in the meantime, Teferi and Leyline Binding can handle Walker later. Okay, I'm going to play my Flooded Strand, and I am going to fire these two creatures. I'll make them figure this out, and then I have a bunch of exile and bounce based removal in the future. Yeah, they're doing exactly what I thought they might. This becomes 2/2. There's no Godless Shrine in the deck, so I can't Leyline Bind that right now. Yeah, Zabaz, redeploying Zabaz. I was going to say this is not always a deck that even wants to get full constructs out of an Urza Saga, so I think I still have time to deal with it. And it seems I'm correct. Zagoth Triome. And then I can play Teferi and Leyline Binding. Zabaz can destroy target artifact you control. That's shitty. If Teferi bounces Urza Saga, that's not exactly like blazing, but it is like reasonable tempo on this board where that's mostly what I'm worried about. Bounce the Saga. And if they try to get clever by Zabazing, I can exile the creature in response. Cool. Saga's back. No surprise there. That might have been a long-term issue to deal with, but I'm trying to survive the short term here. Ooh, Re-Zabaz. Just legending these around. Ridge Zabaz is a 3/3 now. It's 6 damage coming my way. I think this is a deck that ignores Teferi. Yeah, here they come. I'm at 6. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And this card is very good. I believe I Leyline Binding now. But what am I worried about? I think it's Hangerback Walker. Draw for the beans. Exile Walker. As Zabaz can gain the abilities of Zabaz. That's fine. Oh shit. I'm dead. Am I dead? I'm at 2. Okay, yeah, I'm at functionally 2 life here. Because now this knows how to Walking Ballista. Solitude, tough beats. Plus the Teferi, and if I Besage you the Cauldron, that's gone. If I shock this in, I lose. Yeah, I think I just have to Solitude here. Bloodbraid Elf. That's a nice consolation prize. Exile Zabaz. They're going to put me to 2 in response. Yep, 2 life remains. Solitude's gone. Stomping Ground tapped. And from here, I pass the turn. In response to any creature, I have to destroy Soul Cauldron. Maybe I was just supposed to do that main phase, because if they play a 1-drop here, I actually am checkmated. 4 mana for a Hangerback Walker. They still have Summoning Sickness though, right? Yeah, okay. +1/+1 counters have all activated abilities. Okay. Zabaz, I think I'm safe here. Or wait, no, no, what the fuck? This is not how Magic the Gathering works, Brian. Get it together. Alright, Besage you the Soul Cauldron now, before I just die to it. Walking Ballista does not need to be unsummoning Zik to work. Duh. Okay, they're exiling my Solitude. Might as well. They get a land here. Stomping Ground tapped. And Moment of Truth, I guess. Shardless Agent is not going to save me here. Bloodbraid Elf might. I'm going to plus Teferi. And I'm going to play Bloodbraid Elf and hope it hits another Teferi. Bloodbraid Elf. Come on, Teferi. Up the Beanstalk. Blew it. This could hit a white removal spell. Leyline Binding? Forest. Okay, well, I have a blocker. But Urza Saga is about to pop and cause trouble for me. I can't set these flyers free because then I just lose. They've already gone through 3 Zabazes. Are they on 4? That would be insane. The Ozolith is a card in their deck that would cause trouble for me. I got problems. Lots of them. Oh, there is a 4th Zabaz. Cool. That's a lot of that card. Ancient Stirrings. Oh no, that was a really good draw. Patchwork Automaton. Okay, that one... The ward on that one is troublesome, but it is mostly just a ground pounder. And they can't both play that and activate Urza Saga. They're charging up their Walker. If they just kill that now, Fury cleans up the mess. Okay. My plan is to bounce Alright, well, I'll draw a card first and see what my plan actually is. Oh, that's a good one. If I bounce the Boz, they can just kill her in response and I don't draw a card, but then I get to cleanly answer Walker. I think bouncing Zabaz is the play. Get that out of here. What I want them to do is destroy Hangerback Walker in response. Yeah, okay, cool. And then Fury cleans up the whole mess. Zabaz gets bounced, and then Fury... Oh, wait. I can pay the ward here. I can fetch to 1, pay the ward, and just have them on nothing. If they have Pyrite Spellbomb in their deck, well, I'm dead to that anyway. So yeah, I'll just fetch basic Island here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ward is 2, right? Yep, okay. Draw a card. Fury. 1, 2, 3, 4. They ward 2. Hope they don't have a Ginger Brute, but I lose to that. I don't lose to that if I don't attack. Alright, I'm not going to lose to Ginger Brute here. Pass the turn. Their hand is Zabaz. They do get a Saga trigger and an activation if they so desire. Okay, I'm glad they activated it, because if they just didn't, that means they drew something else that wins the game. The Ozolith, okay. Jeez, with the Sagas, come on. They have a bad draw once this game, please. I'm clinging for dear life over here. I need to draw Omnath and start gaining life. That's what needs to happen. Okay, I can Shardless Agent into a Beanstalk, and then I know this Leyline Binding good for multiple cards. Beanstalk, Sacred Foundry, that one's okay to play tapped. Shardless Agent. Zabaz has to gain flying, right? And that costs white mana? Yeah, that's not even a color they have right now. Another Shardless Agent. There's 1 Beanstalk left in here. There it is. Bloodbraid Elf. Sacred Foundry tapped. I love that Moto doesn't even ask if you want to play it on tap, because you can't. Not even allowed. Okay, I'm going to send with Fury. I got to start winning this game somehow. Okay, pass the turn. Leyline Binding, take the wheel. No attacks, no plays. I'm not going to bind if I don't have to. Getting out-tricked is how I lose this game. Oh, baby. Okay, Bloodbraid Elf. Make sure I leave up double white. I'd love to see a Teferi here and just clear the deck. Yeah, there it is. There weren't a lot of hits here that weren't Teferi. So Teferi's in. And if I bounce Construct, they can destroy Construct, but I think that's okay. I don't get to draw a card, but cards aren't really my gate here. Just being freaking dead is. If I attack with everything is too much. I can try to bounce Zabaz and make them decide if killing Zabaz is better than having it in their hand, because killing the Construct is just totally free. Okay, they did decide that was worth it. Attack with Fury and Bloodbraid. Leaving back a haste creature out of respect for Ginger Brute. Oh, no blocks. Wait, did I have Lethal here? Did I just punt it? Oh yeah, if I just bind, attack with everything. If I lose, it's because I did that. And I deserve it. I know that is like a bleed when I'm streaming. And I like to say I don't miss those in paper, but definitely a bleed I know I'm prone to when I'm also doing commentary and stuff is clinging to life so hard that I forget to defeat my opponent. Shadow Spear, that doesn't beat me. And they have to tap out to equip it. There's the equip, got him. 2 cards in hand, one of them's Zabaz. Upkeep Ozolith triggers. Yeah, go ahead, put it there, it doesn't matter. And Leyline Binding. Pew pew, can I get a concession, please? Seeing 4 Beanstalks go on the stack will never not make me just full of brain chemicals. Force of Vigor, pretty important here. Alpine Moon is an interesting one. Turning off Saga is a big deal. We'll see if that's worth the deck slot. I don't think Eilish Norn does much in the matchup. I mean, doubling my own triggers is always fucked up, but they don't really have triggers to turn off. Do you just always board in Gemstone Caverns on the draw? Why is this in the deck? I gotta consume some AspiringSpike content and understand these cards. Teferi being non-destruction removal is pretty good, but it's also a low impact card in a deck that basically doesn't have instants. and I have a bunch of other white removal. It's not like I'm without it if I don't have Teferis. Charmaw can destroy Urza Saga, and it's reduced by it. I don't think that's an axis I need to play the game on. Murderous Cut is just an extra removal spell. If I do that, I'm on 0 Teferi, and Bloodbraid Elf always hits Nissa or Beanstalk. Oh, I have Alpine Moon. Yeah, I can cascade into that often. That's cool. All right. Yeah, I guess having one-ofs in the sideboard that cost 2 or less is, you get more looks than it would appear on the surface. I think Murderous Cut is better than Teferi here. Okay, I'm going in. Having a Pitchcast Fury and a Fire Ice available early on makes me not even that upset that my mana's awkward here. But if I get Rockrun Triumph, that's 4 of them, and it's all my core colors. Yeah, this is fine. Greenside Pathway, Ancient Stirrings, Inkmoth Nexus. Yeah, that card exists. Do you want the Charmaw just for that? Is that possible? And Solitude hits that thing too. Hangerback Walker, okay. Get the Rockrun Triumph. I can just spend 2 mana to exile this Hangerback Walker. I'd also tried to get squirrely with Fire Ice. I think I just pass here. Another Inkmoth, yikes. Arcbound Ravager. Okay. They're starting to get all the pieces together here. Like, I could bind this now so they don't get 2 jerks. Fury almost stabilizes next turn. What happens if I just let all this occur and then Shardless Agent into something? Alright, I'm gonna actually let that happen and just go get a land that casts Shardless Agent. Probably Hallowed Fountain. I want more white as the game goes on, and Zagoth Triumph doesn't work here. Yeah, so this is 1, 2, 3 counters that can go onto an Inkmoth. If they Hardened Scales next turn and land, that's 2, 3, 4, then 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I am actually dead if they have Hardened Scales plus land, and I don't do anything about the board here. I could just Fury the board now while they can't put the counters anywhere. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna see if Shardless Agent hits Alpine Moon, then I don't have to worry about that. And if it hits Beanstalk, this Fury is at least going to draw a card. Up the Beanstalk. Another Fury, okay. Ice can tap Inkmoth Nexus later, where none of the other removal in my hand actually deals with it. I might be exiling Bloodbraid Elf to Fury here. Yeah, I think that is the play. The Omnath is really good. Murderous Cut, happy to see that. It's not exactly easy to get black mana in this deck, but I think I split this 3-1 this way. That way they can't sack Ravager just to save Hangerback. But if I put 2 on Ravager, then they'd have to sack a Thopter as well. Okay, yeah, maybe splitting that 2 and 2 the other way is better. I could re-Fury here. What happens if I just put 4 on Arcbound Ravager right now? So it has 1. I can put 3 on it. Yeah, I'm actually just going to re-Fury. This is the up the Beanstalks world we're living in. Just 2 for 1ing or 2 for 0ing myself all over town. This can become a 4-4 at best. Okay, I'm going to go 3-1. They're going to end up with a large Thopter that gets stuffed by Leyline Binding or Murderous Cut in a future situation. I also split it weird enough that maybe they make a mistake. They figured it out. Okay, they have a 4-4 Thopter, and I'm unlikely to die to poison next turn. And the Ravager and the Hangerback Walker are dealt with. And now we're on 1-for-1 removal world with me still at 17 life. Up the Beanstalk plus Leyline Binding stabilizes this. Ooh, Gemstone Cavern's still in your deck on the play. Don't you just board that out? Or is, I guess a colorless land is fine enough in your deck full of artifacts. Uh-oh, re-Ravager. And Surge Injure, the Mere Ender. Trample, Hexproof, Haste as long as the opponent controls a Planeswalker. I boarded all those out, played around it. Rather than another artifact, you control graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Surge Injure on Scry 1, and then you can sack it to gain life equal to its power. It's a solid card. Oh baby, I like a Solitude. I'm playing up the Beanstalk here, as my plans involve Leyline Bindings and shredding through my deck. I don't really want to pitch the Omnath, but I will if it's required of me. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I hate this card so much. Another Ravager. Okay, that's a lot of this shit. they can just play a Ballista for 0, put it in the graveyard, which means I have to be really careful about how I spend my removal here. I'm going to block Ginger. If I block Ravager, it forces some amount of action. And I can kill 2 things here. All right. I'm going to block Ravager. I have 2 removal spells. Each of them draw 2 cards. So I might have more removal than that. Okay, they're sacking second Ravager to pump first Ravager. Oh, they're pumping Sir Ginger. Okay. That's a 5/3. The original Ravager set currently to trade. But Soul Cauldron, this is a second trigger. When a creature card is exiled this way, put +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. The Soul Cauldron happens, pumping the Ravager. And at this point, I'm going to Leyline Bind Sir Ginger. Oh no, I don't have the... I have to fetch the Zagoth, right? That was the plan all along. Don't worry. I just forgot that step while I was in the heat of combat. A Leyline Bind. Draw 2 cards. So cracked. Target Sir Ginger. And they've already activated Soul Cauldron this turn, so they can't Ballista for 0 and just Machine Gun me later. Put another counter on Ravager. I go to 8 here. And then I untap with Omnath. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And if they try to just load up onto the Thopter, I still have Solitude. Okay, cool. I draw for turn. Then I play Omnath. This does kind of force main phase action, which I was specifically trying to avoid, but I think it's worth it. Draw a card. And what happens? The basic planes being in my hand, kind of a bummer. If I fetch basic island, does anything good happen? Probably not. If I fetch... I can Solitude the Thopter here, and that also draws 2 cards. All right, yeah, I guess I'll fetch... Oh no, did I need to play Flooded Strand here to get a white source? No, Temple Garden's in the deck. All right. God, this is hard. Temple Garden. And I did turn off Murderous Cut for the turn by doing this. Do I lose to the onboard Inkmoth Nexus now that I've done this? Maybe. Shit. Exile the Thopter. At least make them have a... get me on the ground or commit to an Inkmoth. Okay, I might have messed that up with the Omnath. Maybe it's better to just leave up Murderous Cut and Solitude and skip... Like, Omnath, it's always so thrilling to slam that card, especially when you have the fetch land, but I might have just thrown the game by doing it. Urza Saga, okay. Yeah, so they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 poison. Exiling Hangerback Walker, okay. That's a 2/2. It has the abilities of Hangerback Walker and Arcbound Ravager. The activated abilities, not the modular or the dies makes friends thing. Oh, there's the extra point. Shit. Okay, yep. They actually do have 10 poison here if they fully commit. Which they should, because this game does not get better if I untap. Please play scared. Please play scared. Oh, they sacked Ravager? 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, right, because... Yeah, all right, that is Arcbound Ravager. The Ravager doesn't have to sack to itself. Jeez, all right. My brain is not built for Agatha's Soul Cauldron decks. Obsidian Charmaw is a flying blocker that jacks up both Urza Saga and Inkmoth Nexus. I don't know that that's where I want to be in life. Bloodbraid Elf is mostly Beanstalks in this matchup. And I'm not going down on red cards because I am bringing Charmaw. I am going down on green cards because Bloodbraid Elf pitches to Force of Vigor effectively. Maybe Lorien Revealed is worse. This is a matchup where I could conceivably cast Lorien Revealed and be pretty happy about it, though. Is this Charmaw just like goofball time, big goofball hours, or is this actually a good card? I don't have to bring in all 4 of them. I could like bring in some. It triggers the beans. It'll probably cost 3 most of the time. I'm going to try it. Flying blocker, mess with your lands. Give it to me. Okay, so you can lose games with this deck when you put them. I did just leave myself dead on board when I could have had multiple removal spells up. Keep this hand. Force of Vigor looks good. I have the Rockrin and Green Triomes available. I'm going to fetch the Green Triome first because I'd probably want to cast this Beanstalk on too. Inkmoth Nexus. My plan is Already starting to come together. Nissa, fascinating. If I fetch Stomping Ground, I have green and red. I am going to fetch Stomping Ground here. Or is Steam Vents better? No, because I want green. Okay, Stomping Ground. And I'm going to get the Beanstalk in, even though not playing the Rock Wren, there we go, rewarded. I was about to say, means that we aren't necessarily on 3 mana for Shardless Agent, though I wouldn't mind pitching Shardless Agent. Urza's Saga. Force of Vigor just got juicy. Alright, do I just send it now, or do I try to get clever? I think I just force the land and the walker immediately. You get a 1/1, but I'm slowing you down meaningfully. Misty Rainforest, I'll save that for next turn, because Nissa can just go full Lotus Cobra Insano. Cast the Fury, tutor another elemental, or Bloodbraid Elf. I don't think I can get poison combo killed from this board state. I never rule out Hardened Scales completely. A second Igmoth. My Charmaw is ready to rumble. Ravager resolves. No attack, coward. Drew a Solitude, that's a good elemental. I'm gonna make a white, just in case I end up more interested in Solitude. Like I can get double red or double white here. And I guess I don't know what I'm finding until after this happens. Hallowed Fountain does what I need here. I would like to... Do I need to pay 2 life? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I actually... Oh, if I want to cast Solitude, I do need to. If I want my options open, I will pay. And I'm going to make a red. And I found a Fury. That's lucky. I'll cast the Fury that they now know about. And it can just kill both these creatures. They don't have enough artifacts to sack to be tricky here. And I ended up losing 2 life for no reason, but it kept my options open. So, oh, Nissa. Yeah, okay. If it weren't for Nissa, I wouldn't be able to cast Fury or Solitude next turn, but Nissa fixes everything, and my opponent's done. 3 Hardened Scales, Tabio Safekeeping, 2 Zabaz, and no green mana. Yep, you kept the hand. Tough beats. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the draw for round 3. I have a hand that casts Beanstalk, and then kills a bunch of stuff and draws a bunch of cards. I'm in. This is a hand that, eats shit pretty hard to, like, Thoughtseize, or... I guess I'm not worried about Ragavan. I would pitch 2 cards to stop that from getting going. Keep Urza's Saga on turn 1, and Springleaf Drum. So this is... Yeah, this is... I was about to say Springleaf Drum is more of a hammer card than a Scales card, and hammer confirmed. This is a blazing fast start. Solitude is a unit in games like this. I'm not ready to just Fury an Ornithopter, though it does also clip a mana source. Not gonna lie, this start is intimidating. But they just did nothing and sent it. Cool. Fetch for the white Triome here. Rockrin. And I'm actually just gonna leave up multiple pieces of interaction here, because I have Boseiju plus Solitude if I don't tap out for Beanstalk, and I might need 2 things. So their end step, making a homie. I'm going to let them get to their turn and then see how they want to sequence, and then I'll make decisions. Okay, they are on full homie mode. I don't expect this deck to fetch Pithing Needle when they have a pile of hammers in their deck, but still going to respect the possibility. If I fetch Breeding Pool here, that gives me green, but white's more important. Yeah, I think it's Temple Garden. And I think I Boseiju the Sigarda's Aid. So, like, I could do that now, and then Hammer just doesn't even attach. But if I knock Hammer off something, I don't care. Okay. I will let them find their Hammer and just blast the creature it's on, I guess. Putting on old Ornithopy, who's not even engaged in combat at this time. That's fair. Hedging, moving stuff around. Solitude still plays. Okay, I'm gonna Boseiju, the attacking creature, which unfortunately gives them a planes which can cast the armory skill, blacksmith skill, but not if they spend mana. Okay, don't like that guy, but I think I can beat it. Okay, can I get a land? No, I cannot. Now the game is give them a card off Esper Sentinel. 1, 2, 3. Solitude. Yeah, I can't Fury and Esper Sentinel here in a way that I'm happy with. I think I just start with Beanstalk. All problems are solved by Beans. I hate giving opponents cards ever, but this is what I got. Steam Vents. Does that unlock anything for me? Not currently. If I Fury pitching Fire Ice, I might hit another red card. Okay, Fury pitching Fire Ice. Shardless Agent, not a red card, notably. Oh, no, this does work. All right, the thing I said at first, I thought this wasn't going to work, but it does. If I now Solitude the Ornithopter, pitching Solitude, all their creatures are gone. Unless they flash in another hammer right now, and then I lose. Oh, I drew a red card. Okay. Plow the Ornithopter. Did we get the full clear? Oh, right. Oh, no, they're just walking harder into the Fury. Good thing I drew that red card. They had me on board, and I didn't understand. But turns out I didn't have to. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure nothing fucky happens. Okay, that ended up being a good turn, though it did take some help from the top of the deck. All problems are solved by Beans. And the next turn, I could Shardless Agent into a Beanstalk. Oh, I don't have black, so I'm not also holding up Leyline Binding. Okay. Fire Ice. Oh, Shardless Agent can get a second Beanstalk, but the Leyline Binding is not on. If they tutor... I think I'm just going to invest in success here. If they tutor a hammer, I can block for a turn. If they tutor Shadow Spear, they would also need a hammer to finish me off. Okay, just crossing my fingers. I think this is the turn where I win or lose. I don't like crossing my fingers generally as a strategy against hammer, but it's where I am. I could have also just left up Leyline Binding plus Fire Ice and then probably never lose this turn. That's starting to sound really good now that I'm in this position and worried for my life. Okay, they did get the Shadow Spear. If they're holding a hammer, we're dead. Or I can survive at 2. Or no, at 1. At 0. Okay, they also had a bonus artifact. I'm dead anyway, so I'm just not going to block. Cool. All right. Risks were taken. We'll see if they're rewarded. Fire Ice is a cool card. Flooded Strand and pass. If I bind now, though, I might be able to find it to Fairy. But I'm going to pass and make them commit to stuff. Try to get some blowouts. They're at 37 life. I got work to do. Okay, beginning of combat. I'm going to ice the big construct. And unfortunately, I cannot pay for Esper Sentinel. Or yes, I can. But not if I want to draw into a second Leyline Binding. Okay, they're just doing something. I'm leaning on ice because I care more about Leyline Binding. And I am going to pay for the Sentinel. Because I can. And I actually... Alright, what's going on here? Alright, they're just making mana. And then we're just going to combat, sure. I'm going to fetch the Zagoth Triome, play Leyline Binding before blocks. I want to know if they have a hammer. I want to know if they have a protection spell. Leyline Binding. So if I hadn't paid for Esper Sentinel, I actually would have double binding here. I'm going to try to bind this construct. Okay, it's gone. And then block the 1/1. They're going to need an equipment to win this combat. That's a pretty good equipment. Though, if they spend the Nettle Cyst protecting the Esper Sentinel, that's like a creature they never got in the first place because the germ is just gone. Cool. And Esper Sentinel basically impossible to pay for at this point. Unless I draw Solitude. How about Solitude? Fire Ice. Okay. I am going to Leyline Bind in my main phase targeting Esper Sentinel. Because that's the one that I'm now most worried about. Can't pay 8. I have them beat on cards. I have them beat on removal. I need them to not draw out of this. Exile Esper Sentinel. And I'll play Breeding Pool tapped. No, Hallowed Fountain is way more important. There's no green cards in my main deck. Get out of here. And I have to ice this construct. The question is, do I let them commit Nettlecyst mana first, or do I just ice it before they could protect it? All right, whatever. I've been high rolling, and if they have it, I'm deading this whole match anyway. Let's just keep doing that. Equipping the Nettlecyst. Beginning of combat. Ice. If they had a protection spell, I would have been dead last turn. So I think this is safe unless they just drew it, which I should have tapped in the upkeep if I had deduced that. Okay. Oh no, 5 lands in my hand? Not like this. I've drawn so many cards this game. Stoneforge Mystic. That's a good one. All right, deck. How about like just a Solitude, a Leyline Binding, something to get this party going? I would take a Teferi here quite happily. They've got a Hammer that they just tutored up. Diversifying their threats. They have 2 lethal threats, so I do need 2 answers here. Okay, Solitude, Teferi, Fury, something that draws cards, Leyline Binding. Oh, tough. All right, well, if you draw 29 cards in a game and end up with 6 lands in your hand, you lose sometimes. It's fine. Force of Vigor comes in. Murderous Cut comes in. Sometimes Alpine Moon is solid against Hammer, and sometimes it sucks. Once again, looking at Charmaws as just a utility piece. Lorien Revealed. Teferi is kind of mid. Teferi bouncing giant constructs when the dust settles is pretty nice, but also I'm bringing in cards that are kind of better than that. Though Teferi shutting down all their protection spells, big deal. Kaelish Norn turns off Nettlecyst trigger and Stoneforge Mystic trigger. Oh, does this turn off Sigarda's Aid too? It does. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield. Okay. I'm suddenly back in on Kaelish Norn, all the way back in. I might dislike Bloodbraid more here. This Charmaw is just pretty awkward. If I'm behind, Charmaw sucks. If I'm ahead or at stability, Charmaw's good. And once again, just like last round, cutting all the Bloodbraids reduces green cards for Force of Vigor, which I do like. So Teferi, Bloodbraid. I'm just gonna kind of move these around a little bit. I'm running out of time to figure this out, but let's run it like this. 2 Force of Vigors, 1 of the Teferis keep. Gonna lean on Temple Garden. My important cards are green and white. This jerk. Hate that guy. Sacred Foundry tapped. The best case scenario here is if they give me a tasty target for Force of Vigor and then let me Teferi next turn. I mean, that counts. I'm not going to block, and I hope that they play a Hammer. Okay, no damage was dealt. Okay, I mean, this is certainly good enough. Exile the other one. I will pay the 1. And they have Sirs of Salvation to protect the whole squad. Gross! I'm talking about blacksmith skill, like it's the ancient history of the world. All right, I'm going to give them a card to make sure they don't have a hammerable threat in play. Starting next turn. I guess I could have just gone to my turn, play the Teferi, never ever get blown out by anything, give them the card. Yeah, if I was thinking blacksmith skill, which I would have gotten one of these things either way. Pithing Needle, okay. Does this name Boseiju or Teferi? Do you care about Teferi? Okay, you do care about Teferi. Glad I boarded some of them out. If I want to Solitude or Fury next turn, I have to fetch Rockrin Triumph now, so I'm gonna commit that to the situation. Or that's not true, I had double white. Never mind. I could have played my Breeding Pool. Lost his Hammer, yuck. My plan is to Boseiju this Esper Sentinel. It's nice that they have to commit to this at sorcery speed. Teferi's effect, huge on this game right now. Cool. Boseiju. Bang. Get him out. Now Fury and Solitude are active, and Teferi is in play at 1 loyalty to make sure I don't get my Salvation surged again. I'm actually going to pivot onto... Or nope. I would like to cast Fury. Alright, I was going to say I'll pivot onto Zagoth, but that's not even true. I'm just going to get the Rockrin. I have enough mana now that I can play that card anyway. I'm not going to play the Alpine Moon. I'll get them to commit a Saga first. The Teferi is offering a lot of comfort in this time. It's my nice egg in this trying time. Pure Steel Paladin is their best card right now by a mile, country mile. There it is. Solitude is going to just gain them 22 life. Then I have to figure out how to win the game without decking. Ginger Brute, what the shit? I've lost. I've lost the game because I didn't chalk in the breeding pool. I have this Solitude in my hand. I'm just fucking dead. Well, yeah. All right. Well, it was available, and I did not play it. And GG's. Worked right around all of my tricks. On to the next round. Welcome to Taking the Initiative for Trans Lifeline, hosted by myself and a group of your favorite Magic content creators. Trans Heart October is an annual drive where gamers and streamers from around the world work together to support Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline is the nation's only crisis and peer support hotline staffed by trans people for trans people. 2023 has been a year of unprecedented anti-trans legislation, violent rhetoric, and other attacks on the basic rights of some of our most vulnerable community members. Every $2 you donate during this campaign is a raffle entry. Every $500 collected overall adds another prize to the raffle. We have secret layers, Cool Stuff Inc. gift cards, full boxes, and almost 20 commander decks to give away. Use the link or QR code to get in the mix for great prizes while supporting an important cause. Entries are accepted October 16th through 20th, 2023. Donations must include name and address to be eligible for prizes. I'm on the play for round number 4. I'm going to keep this hand. It hits its land drops. It has turn 2 binding and then Blood Braid at the tippity top. No direct route to Beans, but the deck's built to get there. I'm going to lead on Misty. I haven't actually done the full analysis of this mana base, but I think Flooded Strand gets more things. Like, there's no Overgrown Tomb in the deck. Oh, Stomping Ground. Okay, Stomping Ground doesn't get got by Flooded Strand, and Sacred Foundry doesn't get got by Misty Rainforest, and then there's like basics to consider. Oh, there's a little friction no matter what you do here. We get the Rockren Triome. Flooded Strand pass. My plan, assuming my opponent doesn't do anything that messes it up, is to fetch the Zagoth Triome and then cycle the Lorien Revealed. Ketria Triome, that's not in my deck. Could be, but it's not. We're both on the make your land drop strategy. Zagoth Triome, cycle Lorien. Cycling the Lorien, I'm not 100% on. Like, if I just draw land over the next 2 turns, I'm going to wish I had Lorien Revealed in my hand. But also, if I draw a spell, or if I just rip like Shardless Agent or Teferi here, I don't want to play Boseiju because I suspect this is going to be a Leyline Binding mirror of some kind where Boseiju's strong. This could just be Rhinos, I guess. Okay, that's cool. Up the Beanstalk. Play it, leaving up Leyline Binding. That's worth 2 life to me. Opponent's got something to say about that. Spell Snare. Okay, this is not Rhinos. Pass the turn. Either that or it's the worst Rhinos list you've ever seen. Okay, this is just some rug magic cards, it seems. I'm going to fetch here, keep the Boseiju. It's Bloodbraid time. Just have to decide how I want to do this. I could lose some life against what could be a tempo deck that kills me with a burst of like Bolt, Snap, Bolt stuff. I don't actually know what this is. This might be a mainstay in the metagame and I'm just out of the loop. Or it could be some fake thing that I just handle. If I get a red source here, I have all the doubles I need to play the game on like Fury and stuff, but that costs life no matter what. I have double white. I don't need double green in the main. Alright, I will just get the Sacred Foundry. And hopefully just cast 3 spells here. Try to overload this deck. Shardless Agent, 3 spells coming. Beans. And Snapcaster's still pretty good here. Snap, counter the Beans, trades with the Bloodbraid. I see Rug Mana and Spell Snare. My brain just goes to 2010. Can't help it. Look at that shit. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is the best Magic there is. And I still have a bunch of creatures to their not a bunch of creatures, but... And I'm not actually going to attack. I'm not going to give them this free giant mana swing. I can just cast Fury or Solitude next turn. Cause a bunch of problems for them. And have 5 power on board rather than just get a bad trade out of it. Spell Pierce exiled. Love to see that one go. I no longer suspect that I need this Boseiju for Leyline Binding reasons. I could just keep it anyway, or I could keep the fetch land. They could have Counterspell here. That card's annoying. Okay, I played to a world where I can cast Fury this turn. I'm going to do that. They would need actual Counterspell on this, which is likely a card their deck contains, but also Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, that kind of shit doesn't work here. They did it. Okay. I can just start pushing damage. I know I said last turn I don't want just like a bad trade, but now that they've answered that, and I don't want to get into a position where they can snap, counterspell me. Oh, they didn't even take the trade. That's scary as shit. I'm actually worried. What are they doing with the Snapcaster Mage? Do you have like ninjas? Oh god. Hercule Master Wizard, a card I've never read in my life. Beginning of your end step, if you've cast a non-creature spell, reveal the top cards of your library for each card type among non-creature spells you've cast this turn. Put a card of that type from among the reveal cards into your hand. What? Okay, so like at the beginning of your end step, you reveal your top 5 cards, and like if you've cast an instant, you get an instant of that type. If you've cast a sorcery, you get a sorcery. So that's what that card actually means. It's also a 2/4. Pretty good stats. Okay, Unholy Heat. That means in the end step, they get a trigger and they can take an instant. 5 cards revealed. Lightning Bolt, Jawari Disruption among them. They chose the Lightning Bolt. Shocking. I mean, this is a pretty good Solitude spot. Play my Flooded Strand, jam Solitude. I was right on the read of being worried about Bolt, Snap, Bolt. That is a line their deck's capable of. Flame of Andor. Oh no. This does something. Choose one if you control a wizard as you cast the spell. Yikes. Okay. Well, I could have answered that Snapcaster. You can't kill it in response because the modes have already been chosen. Yeah, that is a card that I am like consciously aware exists, but have not played against yet, and that was a huge blowout. Okay, what do I want here? Temple Garden, Steam Vents. I think Steam Vents. Teferi Time Raveler, that one is a fucko for this deck to deal with. I'm going to attack first, because if they want to bolt, they're going to take 2 first. Like if I just play Teferi, they might bolt in response. Okay. White, green, blue. Teferi. They're bolting me in response. Okay. Teferi, bounce. I think I bounced Shardless Agent here. I drew a basic plains. Good shit. And I'm going to fire the Snapcaster right now before they could play another Flame of Andor. This deals damage to creatures, right? Okay, yeah, I don't actually care about that. They get all the modes they'd want anyway. I'm going to see if they go face here. That would indicate Bolt to me versus trying to actually deal with the Teferi. Fire, fire. We're going 1-1 on the fire. If they suddenly have a ninja, I'm quitting Magic. Okay. I mean, I'm still in double bolt range. And that's clearly a function that this deck is designed to do. Yeah, there's a Snapcaster. It's a good one. Unholy Heat. Okay. All right, I like that. Spending time dealing with that is good for me. Another Fire Ice, you love it. Green, blue, colorless. This gets a Beanstalk. Opponent's got 3 cards left. I can fire the Snapcaster again. I can Leyline Bind. I've got options. I am going to fire it before they can Flame of Andor. Oh, this Teferi. Such a teaser. I want that next turn, I guess. Fire, Snapcaster. Flame's an instant, right? Yep, sure is. Okay, fire the Snapcaster. This does get Spell Snared if they have that. Does not get Spell Pierced. Counterspell's mostly fine. They did counterspell that. I'm going to Leyline Binding right now. I'm not getting Flame of Andor again. Get your card out of here, and I'll pass the turn. Hope you don't have double bolt. I'm ready for a Murktide. EI, good card. Banned in most formats. Scalding Viper on the exile. I had this card at the Wilds of Eldraine pre-release. It was pretty sick. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, targeting my Leyline Binding. Dirty pool, mister. And on the other side, it's the Scalding Viper. So this can be a Lightning Bolt on me or on Shardless Agent, depending on what they think is important here. Oh, do you have a Lightning Bolt in your hand? Am I fucking dead? Yeah, they're just going face. I think I've lost. Okay, they're passing the turn. I don't think if they had another one, they would have waited to this point to do it. Okay, white, blue, colorless, Teferi, get in there, cause some trouble. Bouncing Snapcaster Mage seems reckless as hell. I could bounce up the Beanstalk and replay it, and then also play Leyline Binding. I could also Leyline Bind the Snapcaster first, see what I draw, and then make decisions. That's probably the way to go. Leyline Binding, draw. Does this have haste? I probably should have read this. No, it does not. Okay. It does kill me, though. Someday. Attack with Shardless Agent. And refiring the Shardless Agent is better than refiring the Beanstalk, because this is just a whole extra Beanstalk. Shardless Agent. Okay, I mean, I'm dead to any Bolt, and they're a Bolt-themed deck. I'll pass the turn, hope I'm not dead. And I feel like that's going to be the game plan for the next several turns. Red man in the pool. Cool, Lightning Bolt. Well, I think they just drew that, because they had the wide open shot last game, so whatever. Okay, tempo stuff, countering my Beanstalks. Unfair. Endurance seems pretty solid here. Flame of Andor is a card I'm now aware of. This Lorien Revealed again seems kind of medium. Eilish turning off Snapcaster Mage ices their whole deck. Snapcaster Mage theme deck. I respect it. I'm trying to think here. I mean, all of the bones of a Murktide Regent deck are there. I don't know, like, can you be too low to the ground for a Murktide Regent, or is lower to the ground better for Murktide Regent? I don't know, that's tricky. I think I do want all my Teferis. I love the Cascade things, just creating more than one spell they have to counter per turn. Lightline Binding actually seems kind of mid. Is it better than Endurance, though? Maybe. This is a tough match to sideboard for. There's not, like, a super obvious decision here for me. Maybe Eilish Norn is just a big shitter. I know it turns off Snapcaster and doubles my own stuff, but it also costs 5 against this deck. Endurance just lower to the ground than these 2 5-drops. I'm in for that. 2 lands, Beanstalk, Keep. That's the new Island Ponder. 2 lands, Beanstalk. The Boseiju awkwardly not actually a forest, so I can't cast up the Beanstalk on 2 mana even with a Rockern Triumph. I hope to find another land before that's a problem. Passing the turn. Getting the Rockern Triumph, as promised. Cool. Oh wait, nope, need a green source. I was about to say I don't have to play Boseiju now, but that is actually my green land. Cool. We saw Spell Pierce and Spell Snare in game 1, and I'm pretty stoked that my Beanstalk just resolved. That was not a guarantee. Cycling Lorien Revealed in the end step, getting a Steam Vents, then playing a Scalding Tarn instead of the Steam Vents. Shardless Agent, give me more beans. Beans! It looks like they're ready to move on a counterspell this time. Yup. Those exchanges just feel really good. Breeding Pool. We saw Ketria Triome last game, which could just be like an Azit land that cycles, but now we actually see true green mana. Wonder what that means. Well, I'm about to miss a land drop. And I'm not just gonna shove Nissa into open mana here. Splinter Twin is still banned, last I checked. Flame of Andor. Anor. Andor's a Star Wars thing. Anor. Right in the Anor. Yeah, you get to draw 2 cards. Still sitting on that Steam Vents. I'm gonna ice their Steam Vents at the end of turn. And pushing damage here feels good, but also I would like to hit my land drops. Even though I'm the one who is attacking right now, I'm still not the beatdown in this matchup. Yuck. And Bloodbraid Elf ready to rip whenever that becomes a thing, but currently not a thing. 7 cards in hand, still not shoving this Nissa into open mana. I have 3 pieces of instant speed interaction, 4 if you count Solitude. That's why I'm not playing the Nissa. If I just had nothing else to do, I would take my medicine and cast it. But I am pushing damage right now. They're now at the critical mass where if they do have Splinter Twin, like Kiki Jiki in their deck, they're at the point where they can do that. Okay, just stuffing me from drawing the card. That's fair. Land for Bloodbraid? Ugh. It heard me say Bloodbraid. I should have been more specific. Continue my beatdowns. They're at 8. Something's happening. This card's a pain in my Anor. They drew 2 more cards. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. And we saw Unholy Heat, so maybe That's all that is. We haven't seen a Dragon's Rage Channeler yet, though. That card does make some sense in the deck. It's not a wizard, though. It's a human shaman, I believe. BI. This steam vent's still chilling from that early Lorien revealed. Exiled and then immediately played Scalding Tarn. And immediately fetched Scalding Tarn. Flash Fires, destroy all planes. Well, I only have one of those. And it's still pretty important, though. I'm going to play a Leyline Binding just to draw a card. You got me. That's a sweet one. Ah ha ha ha, played around it. And by played around it, I mean, would have been nice to have Bloodbraid Elf jumping this turn. Getting in there, causing trouble. I am going to play the Nissa now. They've put the counter shields down. I'm missing white and red from this board. So Sacred Foundry has those colors in it. Okay, pass the turn. And this Leyline Binding just sitting in play is fuel for a Teferi. I can pick that up, draw a card, and have a removal spell ready. If this game even goes that long. They have enough mana right now that they could go Pestermite, untap Mountain, play the Steam Vents, Kiki Jiki, win. I don't know if I need to actually be worried about that, but it's on my mind. I'm in that, like, 2011, 2012 modern space right now with this deck. Magma Quake, 3 damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. Okay, my creatures are gone. Univault. Alright. We're having a good time. Can I please just cast this damn Bloodbraid? Absolutely not. Why would that ever be possible? Losing my mind. Expressive Iteration, yep. Carry on with yourself. EI into EI. One of the most busted plays in Magic's history. Flipped an Unholy Heat. That's not going anywhere. I could cycle a Leyline Binding again. I really don't want to do that, though. Can I just draw one of my many lands in my deck? Up the Beanstalk. Can we try it? This is going to get countered all day, every day. Yep. Spell Pierce on turn 9. Just the biggest middle finger imaginable. Mutavault's a wizard, by the way. If they just activate that and then Flame of Anor. But there's not even 2 modes to take advantage of anyway. Destroy target artifact, deal 5 to a creature. I don't have any of those other things. Steam Vents finally arrived. They tutored for it on turn 1, it's turn 9, and they played it. Activating the Vault. I mean, I am not spending a Solitude on this. Not when this deck could have Murktide Region in it. Oracle Master Wizard. They haven't cast any spells yet. Or no, this was the EI turn? Was it? No, okay. Yeah, we're good. Oh my god! Alright, well, Fury pitching Fury. Let's start there. See if I can fight out a counter war here that also draws me enough cards to play Bloodbraid Elf and win the damn game. Okay. I found the land to play Bloodbraid Elf. They have a counter spell. Okay. My spell is countered. What if I play Bloodbraid Elf now? What do I need? Another blue? Hallowed Fountain seems good here. That gives me double white. I still don't have double red. I don't have a second Sacred Foundry. It was the Rockman Triumph they destroyed. I think I'd rather have double white than double red in this spot. I'm probably about to bitch the other Fury anyway. Yep, okay. Bloodbraid Elf. Do stuff. Hit Teferi. Clear this idiot. Alright. Teferi. This idiot being Hercule, not my opponent. But also, you know, like, both. It's Subtlety, pitching Subtlety to flip my Teferi back to the top of my deck. And that is where I'm going to put it. That is a card I'm quite happy having access to. Though, no, I'd rather have a land. Bloodbraid Elf resolves. Fury pitching the other Bloodbraid Elf. I think I do actually need to do this. Or is pitching Solitude better here? Because Bloodbraid Elf is a heater on this board. Yeah, I'm going to Solitude pitching Binding, actually. I don't like giving them life, but I think Bloodbraid Elf is going to be really important to closing the game out. Exile Hercule. And their deck's full of Lightning Bolts. This Bloodbraid Elf might not actually connect here, but I hope it does. And if it doesn't, they have 1 card left in their hand. Cool. Okay, I'm at 11. Mutavault can put me to 9. Flame of Anor does have a target now. So activate Mutavault, Snapcaster, Flame. That's a thing they could do. Played a Misty Rainforest, love that. They could Snapcaster Flash Fires, that's actually a giant problem. Because then they have 2 blockers and I'm unlikely to cast spells anymore. I feel like if you're going to put a heater like Flash Fires in your modern deck, you should at least get a nice black border copy. What an insult to lose to this version of this card. Yuck. They have Hercule and they're passing. Okay, 2 fire ices. I control, that's not the right word. I have no red mana. I'm going to Bloodbraid first, because if this ends up being a Beanstalk, then Fury will draw more cards this way. And if it ended up being a Teferi, they wouldn't be able to interact with Fury anyway. Did find the land. Fury, exile Fire Ice, draw 2 cards. Another Bloodbraid. Another Shardless Agent. We did it! Okay, game 3. The Endurance actually would have been pretty cool at multiple spots in that game. Just flashing in something when they're trying to play draw go. Is this a Nexus of Fate matchup? I don't think so. But I am excited about the idea of that card, just in general. Bloodbraid was just too good. That's how I overwhelm tempo decks, when you just get 2 or 3 spells out of one object on the stack. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with 2 Endurance. That's also diluting my Bloodbraid hits a little bit if I need like a Teferi in a spot. Generally in this matchup, I don't think I care specifically about what I get out of Bloodbraid as long as it's 2 spells. Okay, 2 lands, Beanstalk Keep. You know what it is. Getria Triome. Knowing this deck has Flash Fires in it is pretty messed up, though. Like, I just don't play counterspells. Like, commandeering that doesn't matter. There's no other counterspell. There's no, like, Dovin's Veto in here. That's a function of being a Cascade deck. You can't do stuff like that. Plains. Well, I need a forest here anyway. I'm going to get Breeding Pool. Or, yeah, Breeding Pool. I'm thinking about Stomping Ground, but this land can't get it, so yes, Breeding Pool. Also conveniently not a Plains. Opponent's still ready to fight over this card, which I believe is correct. Nice to see an actual counterspell spent on that, not some little shitter like Spell Pierce. Like, that's a real card that matters late into the game, but Spell Pierce and Spell Snare I can ignore eventually. Getting bobbled again. Oh, targeted themselves. They got a fetch land to select if they want that card or not. They draw. They didn't want that card after all. Nice. I drew a land that lets me cast Endurance, and I can fetch a non-plains. Cycling Lorien Revealed. You got it. Grabbing a Steam Vents. And this is a spot where I can end step Endurance. If they fight over it, I can untap Bloodbraid. Yeah, you got it. Island. Still a Steam Vents over there in the hand. This time I get Stomping Ground for sure. Shock it in. Shove the Endurance. See how they feel about this. Untap. Bloodbraid them. Counterspell is how they feel about that. It feels weird to Bloodbraid when I could Omnath, but I can Omnath next turn. Oh, Omnath insulates extremely well against... No, I'd rather just have multiple spells. This Bloodbraid could end up in a Teferi. We're doing just 3 spells here, that's fine with me. Omnath was tempting, there's Teferi. But just putting this 1-for-1 deck in a spot where it's behind on board, like even if it does Flash Fires this turn, I just bash for 5 and carry on with my life. I still think it's really funny that Nissa gets Bloodbraid Elf. That's good stuff. Just good deck building. Traverse the Ulvenwald, okay. This is in full Delirious Tutor mode. First time we've seen that. First green card we've seen. After commenting that there are actual green cards in the deck. Grabbing Hurkle, but not playing it. Okay. Can I get a fetch land? Just a regular land. Did I just test the waters with Teferi here? Is that even good? What I don't want to happen is Snapcaster Mage, but they don't have a removal spell in the graveyard. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. Here they come. Opponent's life total is smaller now. I like that. And I like the test of Teferi. Just straight up now or never. Do something or don't. I don't care. Here's my card. Boom! Right in the Anor. They drew 2 cards. Are we tired of that joke yet? Oh, did they find the Spell Pierce? Cheater. I hope this is just like Lightning Bolt your Bloodbraid Elf or something. Some shit I don't care that much about. Okay, cool. I think I want Bloodbraid back in my hand. Just refire that one next turn. I could also plus Teferi and turtle up for a minute. But they have Unholy Heat in their deck. Tricky. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what to do with this Teferi. If this Zagoth was an untapped source, I could bounce Beanstalk and just replay it, get 2 cards right now, but it's not. I'd really like to Omnath next turn. I'm going to plus Teferi. This insulate against Lightning Bolt. And this maximizes good Omnaths next turn. Unholy Heat instantaneously. Eat shit me. But that's a heat that's not spent on these creatures while they're at 5. Or at 7, and taking 5. I wish they were at 5. Okay, Big Daddy Bloodbraid. Mommy Bloodbraid? Sorry, Mommy. Here we go. I believe this is also better than Omnath. Omnath being my pitch to Solitude and Fury. Just rounding it out. Shardless Agent into up to Beanstalk. Just another 3 spells. No big deal. Another Solitude. And now I am threatening lethal. You better do something. Here I come. Is it Cryptic Command? That would be so cool. Oh, they have that Quake shit. Okay, yeah, that thing does work. All right. You did it. That's fine. Still a pretty good turn. Even though I got 4 for 1, I'm still hanging out. I did see that last game. Maybe I was supposed to attack first and then do something different. Here's Hercule. I don't need to react to her right away, because she triggers at the beginning of your end step. Like, counter spells don't trigger her. Okay, I can do a million things here. How do I want to start this party? I could start it with Omnath and just see if that goes anywhere. Or I could hardcast a Solitude, draw 2 cards. I think I'm just going to cast Fury. Fury's the one that kills them the hardest. And now we're in Psycho mode. Like, two actual counter spells have been spent already. Fury, get in. Just resolved. Deal. Roast. Oh, they're fetching in response. Can they save this somehow? What's going on here? Rune Flare Trap. An opponent drew 3 or more cards this turn. Damage to a player equal to the number of cards in their hand. Does that kill me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite. It's really good, though. Fuck me. Cool card. Opponent's got the sauce. I'm at 6. Flame of Anor. Target player draws 2 cards. Yep. Okay. Rune Flare Trap. Cool stuff. Hope too many of those aren't in the deck. Snapcaster doesn't work with that. I mean, if you just like tap 8 mana right now and hit me with it. Alright, well. So I can pitch cast a Solitude, hope I draw 2 card, or draw another white card, and then exile the Solitude. This is the only way out of this. Okay. Unfortunately, these replace themselves. I just need another white card to exile the first Solitude, and we figured it out. Nope, couldn't get there. And you exile another target creature, Solitude can't hit itself. So, yeah, cool. Died to Rune Flare Trap. Opponent's got the spice over there. On to the next round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round, and I have 2 colors. I can ice my way out of it. Alright, yeah, I'll keep. It's just lands and spells that do stuff. I can cast Leyline Bindings off of these 2 lands I have. I can cast Fire Ices off of these lands I have. I can pitch cast as Fury if I have to. Opponent's got a Marsh Flats for Blood Crypt. Alright, are we seeing Scam? The alleged Scam? I keep hearing this as a deck, and then didn't queue into it. Okay, I can just Fury this jerk and be done with it. I can take 1 hit and Fire Ice next turn. I think I am in the just Fury this now camp. Nah, fuck that. I love card advantage. Maybe that's wrong for this deck, but I don't have a Beanstalk or a route to a Beanstalk. Come get me, little raggy. Flip a land, please. Flip the Bloodbraid Elf. Alright, well, they won't be able to play that. Barely. Next turn, that would have been a huge issue. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, you got it. Okay, this land can turn on... No, it can't. Alright, never mind. I think this is the land I play, though. Because now that there's 2 things here, Fury's fine. I will play the Misty Rainforest. I will pitch cast the Fury. Get those creatures out of here. They're still doing stuff, and it's pretty good. Oh, if I had chucked in Stomping Ground, I could have bound the Fable as well. I could still Boseiju the Fable. I'm not trying to ramp them, though. Yeah, maybe I was just supposed to chuck in the Stomping Ground and eat it up. Dothy Voidwalker. If I fetch Rockran Triumph now, what happens? If I fetch Sacred Foundry, I can just shoot this thing. Okay, I am gonna fetch the Sacred Foundry here. Or can't with Misty. I guess I'm getting Steam Vents. They could scam this buddy. Am I worried about that? I guess the way that I've fetched my lands, I better do something now while I have mana up. Because I don't have access to green because the Stomping Ground's in my hand. And they are scamming this buddy. Okay. Shardless Agent. I could send that. I think I'd rather Leyline Bind, though. Not going to pay 2 life. I am going to bind. Just main phase. Get the Voidwalker out. They get to flip their Fable this turn. Beseju can answer that, though I am running out of 2-for-1s here. Yuck. Yet not Furying the Rag on turn 1 facilitated this reflection of Kiki Jiki. That Blood Raid Elf once again. Can't quite cast it. Would have been a nice draw, though. Okay, I can play my land here and Beseju the Kiki Jiki. Or the, yeah, Kiki Jiki. That's who that is. Beseju the Kiki Jiki. Draw step's probably strictly better for that. Or no, well, if they draw a scam spell, they get their reflection back. Or their Fable back. So, no, okay. I'm good. They know about the Leyline Binding. I'm going to fetch the Zagoth Triumph here. It doesn't give me double white, but it does let Leyline Binding cost 1. Nissa. I mean, she's got a Tookus on her. They haven't had opportunity to cast a removal spell yet, so good chance she just dies. Takanuma picked up another Ragavan. That's not even good. Okay, deal. If they have Fury here, I'm in trouble. Tilt. There it is. Okay, I think I want to exile the Ragavan and then deal with Fury separately. I'm scared of all these creatures. Lorien fucking A. The first time in the league where Lorien Revealed would have been a card I'm happy to cast, and I'm on 4 mana. Well, this is 6, 7, 8, and they flip a card. I'm good. Okay, no Beanstalks. This deck falls apart fast. I just never even had one or a Route 2-1 that game. I think we want Endurance here. The Fairy's solid. The Shardless Agents are important. Heelish Norn solid. Uh-oh, I just like all the cards. This is a no sideboard situation. Do I take out this Cursed Lorien Revealed again? And Bloodbraid seems so good. And Heelish Norn, she just costs so much. In a matchup that is maybe about being smaller than that. Alright, 2 Endurance is what I found room for. In we go. This hand has Beanstalks, but only 1 land. Not risking that. 2 lands and a Beanstalk keep. I'm gonna bottom 1 of the Solitudes. Blooded Strand pass. Blood Crypt tapped. You love to see it. Can I get my beans going? Rockrin Triome. Gonna fetch a Breeding Pool here. Or not Breeding Pool. Stomping Ground? Yeah, I have a lot of red in this hand. Okay, Stomping Ground. What do I need double blue for? Nothing. More beans. Marsh Flats over there. Come on, land. No land. More beans, though. Send it. Keep them coming. I didn't get Bowmastered. That's good news. Missing land drops, though. Scam opponent smells blood. Speaking of blood, if they Blood Moon here. Jesus. I mean, that sucks. I do have Fury in my hand and 2 Fire Ices. We can keep playing. Basic lands, always had it. Not that that solves all my problems, but it is a nice step in the correct direction. Thoughtseize. Okay. This probably takes Solitude or Fury. Probably more worried about Fury. If I find my Plains, Leyline Binding handles the Blood Moon. Yeah, Solitude for sure. Okay, deck. Just keep the lands coming. Win the game with this Fury. Heck yeah. Next turn, Fury's online. And I can fire twice now. It's 4 damage, wherever I need to put it. Divided how I choose. Dashing a Ragavan. We've seen these Fire Ices. They must have multiple Ragavans or just tricks here. Undying Evil. Target creature gains Undying until end of turn. And they can just scam it again. If I fire it again, that's fine. Ragavan can come back. And now I have a target for Fury if I draw the land. Alright, let's see what happens here. Ding. Always had it. Fury, draw 2 cards. I have a Solitude now. Oh, right, this is Blood Crypt. This doesn't work. I was worried about re-scamming on the second Fire Ice, but doesn't even matter. Okay, if they have another land, they can Fury me back here. But now I can pitch a Solitude. Shieldred. Alright, she's going to get me for a little bit. Because I have to Solitude that. Yeah, I'll just send it now, take my medicine. Yes, I understand I lose 4 life when I cast the spell. Get rid of Shieldred. I found my basic Plains, though. You're in trouble now, homie. Plains. Oh, wow. I could just Bloodbraid Elf. Even better. This deck has a plan for Blood Moon. I love it. Nissa. Scoop it, scoop it. Right, Blood Moon. That's a card. I could just fetch my basics early and respect that. Or I could bring in some Force of Vigors, which I think are mostly only good against Blood Moon. I'm not excited to destroy a Witch Roll token. Yeah, I think I'm just going to fetch with Blood Moon in mind. Clearly, we can beat it. I'm not going to get too weird about it. Speaking of can beat Blood Moon, someone has Basic Forest Boseiju in this hand. I'm going to keep... it doesn't exactly explode, but I'm not trying to like go to 5 and then get grief scammed and never play the game. Speaking of... Alright, go ahead. Look at my hand. Take my cards. Not dead after all. Took my Fury. Took my... I imagine Shardless Agent? Oh, okay. Took one of the 2 Teferis, which must mean they have a plan for the other one. Because why would you care about one? Misty Rainforest. Play it. Grief's going to get in here. The fetching situation's super awkward. I am not going to fetch here. Bloodbraid Elf, cool. I think I ice the Grief off of Island Forest. And then I can just Shardless Agent next turn. Opponent's a cop. Okay, well, in that case, Forest. Oh no, I can't get Forest. Shit. That was actually the perfect squeeze where if they have land Blood Moon next turn, it hurts. I would like to fire both halves of this Bowmaster and be able to cast a Fairy next turn. What lands do that? Basic Island Sacred Foundry? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the line. Basic Island Sacred Foundry, hurts. Fire your Bowmaster right now before it can get any larger. Or you can scam it back. They know Teferi's in my hand. They must have a plan for it. Dash Ragavan. I'm at 5. Please don't take any busted cards. Leyline Binding, okay. Thoughtseize, take Teferi. Yeah, I'm at 1. I'm just dead. Yep, they knew that Teferi was there. I said they would have a plan for it, and they did. Like, if I Shardless Agent here, it hits a Beanstalk, and I have to do this. This will block the Ragavan. I get a redraw, but then I have to figure out how to not die to Grief without ever removing their Wicked roll, because then I lose 1 life. Yeah, I'm dead for Xaxes. Fury, I'm dead for more than Xaxes. You did it. Okay, an explosive start to the league kind of petered off. One of the matches, I was not 100% careful against Hammer. I mean, their hand had to be Pure Steel Paladin and Ginger Brute to punish my cautious line. Otherwise, I just lost 2 life on a fetch land for no reason. I'm not going to feel too bad about that. It was just like one of those things, I guess. And then the Rune Flare trap matchup, like very obviously that person has teched out for this sort of thing, which is smart. I'm glad people are reacting to it. And then Scam just beat me. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan differently. The game I didn't have a Beanstalk. You can't 2-for-1 yourself forever. You do need to recoup those cards. And Scam is a deck that doesn't give you time to figure it out. This deck feels very cool though. I imagine I did not play it as tight as AspiringSpike would. He's got a bunch of content with it. Go watch that. I'm not super dialed into Modern, but I'm going to have to be with SCG Pittsburgh coming up. I don't want to be losing to my fetch land sequencing or any goofy stuff. I want to just play good Magic. So hopefully I'll be playing some more Modern, at least personally, to get my muscles built back up rather than necessarily for the channel. But hopefully that'll happen in the next couple weeks. In the meantime, I imagine Spike will keep working on this deck, and it'll keep getting better. It's a very cool thing, and I am inspired for my legacy build of this. That'll come out in probably sometime in the next 2 weeks. More Beanstalks is very exciting. Shardless Agent, very exciting. In Legacy, we get Force of Will and Spirit Guides. I don't know if we want to go as hard as Spirit Guides in this deck, but it's a thing. Everyone, thanks for watching. Rob, thanks for the opportunity to play this deck. Check out the Patreon. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, donate to Trans Lifeline, and I'll see you next time.